Have you ever watched top-tier teams like Manchester City, Arsenal, Barcelona, or Bayer Leverkusen and just wondered, how on earth do they make it look so effortless? Seriously, how do they consistently look absolutely dominant, creating endless chances even against the most stubborn, highly organized defenses? Well, in this explainer, we're going to demystify exactly how elite attacks function. We'll break down the very patterns that turn a simple possession into a completely lethal scoring opportunity. So why do elite teams sometimes pass the ball 20 times before taking a single shot? To the casual viewer, it might just look like they're passing it around the back, maybe even wasting time. But I promise you, they absolutely aren't. Today, we're going to stop just watching the ball and we're going to start seeing the underlying chess match. We're unpacking the deliberate mathematical precision behind these high-level tactics that ultimately lead to that final, glorious strike. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We've got 5 parts: mastering positional play, movement, rotations, and blind sides, controlling space and numbers, 5 ways to score, and finally, the power of patience. Let's dive right in. Section 1, mastering positional play, which is really the overarching philosophy of modern football. Now, when you hear the term positional play, or juego de posición, you might instinctively picture players glued to a specific spot on the grass, standing completely still. But actually, it's the exact opposite. It means every single player occupies a very deliberate position that helps the whole team create passing options, open up space, and just maintain total control. It's a dynamic system designed to mathematically dominate the pitch by ensuring everyone is spread out perfectly to support the ball. Let's break down why this works. The absolutely crucial principle here, creating passing triangles. Good teams rarely leave the player on the ball stranded with only one option. By forming these passing triangles, the ball carrier almost always has at least 2 passing options, and this makes it incredibly difficult, almost impossible, for defenders to press successfully. Along with that, players have to keep good spacing, always offer a support angle, physically stretch the opposition across the entire width of the field, and constantly be on the hunt to occupy dangerous spaces. Moving on to Section 2, movement, rotations, and blind sides. This is all about creating chaos for the defense. The key thing to grasp here is the concept of rotations. This happens when players deliberately swap positions during a live attack. Watch how this plays out in real time. First, your left back overlaps aggressively, high up the wing. To accommodate that run, the winger darts inside toward the center of the pitch. Now look at the defending team. They've got a major problem on their hands. They're forced to make a split-second decision. Do they follow the winger inside? Do they stay in their zone? Switch markers? That tiny, microscopic moment of hesitation is exactly what the attacking team wants. It creates explodable space literally out of thin air. Let's do a quick role play to really get a feel for our next concept, which is the blindside run. I want you to imagine you're a center back in a massive high-stakes match. You're watching the ball being passed around right in front of you. Your eyes are absolutely locked on it. Then, suddenly, the opposing striker makes a darting run right behind your shoulder, right where you can't easily see them. By the time you turn your head, it's already too late. The final pass is played, and it's a goal. Elite strikers are constantly attacking the defender's blind side, which turns the defender's focus on the ball into a fatal weakness and creates this visceral sense of panic at the back. All right, Section 3, controlling space and numbers, basically manipulating the opponent. This brilliantly illustrates a tactic known as the switch of play. Imagine your team is attacking heavily down the left flank, right? So the opposing defense shifts entirely over to that side to crowd the attack and block your path. Well, because the entire defense shifted left, your right winger is now left completely free in acres of open space. So instead of stubbornly forcing the attack into that heavily crowded area, a great midfielder will instantly recognize this imbalance. They'll launch a quick cross-field pass to switch the play to the completely free side. It is a devastating move. At its core, football is often just a game of math. 2 versus 1. Even if you completely failed high school algebra, you know that's a winning formula, right? This is what we call numerical superiority. The very best teams in the world don't just sit around hoping these situations magically happen. They engineer them deliberately. They build overloads on one side of the pitch, use quick combinations, or deploy underlapping runs to make sure that whenever they attack a specific zone, they simply have more players there than the defending team. And because football is a global game, these tactical concepts cross all borders. Whether you're analyzing a match in English or Bengali, the fundamental philosophy remains exactly the same. A blindside run is always a run outside the defender's vision. A switch of play is shifting the attack from one side to another, and numerical superiority is simply having that numbers advantage. Grasping these universal concepts means you can talk high-level football strategy anywhere, with literally anyone in the world. Section 4, 5 ways to score. the arsenal of elite attacks. So there are 5 primary ways to cash in on these broken defenses once you've gained that spatial advantage. Number 1, through balls, which are perfectly timed to shatter a high defensive line. Number 2, crosses, deployed when the middle is just too congested to play through. Number 3, cutbacks, getting all the way to the byline to exploit retreating, backpedaling defenders. Number 4, long shots, for when the defense flat out refuses to step out and close you down. And number 5, quick one-touch combinations to intricately weave your way through that final block of desperate defenders. Listen to how an elite analyst describes this during a live Champions League broadcast. The home sider creating overloads on the left before switching play quickly to the opposite flank. The rotations are pulling defenders out of position. See how vivid and precise that is? By understanding the terminology we just covered, you start hearing the match exactly like the professionals describe it. It transforms from just random running into this beautifully orchestrated series of calculated patterns. And finally, Section 5, the power of patience, waiting for the perfect moment. We started this explainer by asking why teams sometimes make 20 passes before shooting, right? Well, they aren't wasting time. They are actively waiting for a defender to get frustrated and step out of line, waiting for a highly contested passing lane to finally open up. They're waiting for a teammate to make that sudden, lethal blindside run. Or they're deliberately building up a numerical overload on one side of the pitch. You see, patience isn't a lack of attacking intent. Patience is a vital, highly calculated part of the attack itself. So here's a pro tip, straight from the playbook of elite analysts, that I really want you to take away from this. Don't only watch the player with the ball. Everyone watches the ball. If you want to think exactly like a coach, watch the player who doesn't have it yet. Watch the fluid movement, the spacing, the players hunting for those tiny pockets of space. Because often, it's that off-the-ball movement that single-handedly decides whether the attack succeeds or fails. So, challenge yourself during the next match you watch. Try to predict where the next pass is going before it even leaves the player's foot. Which leaves us with this final, honestly provocative question to ponder. What tactical problem is each team trying to solve? Every single match you watch from now on, I want you to ask yourself this. Because knowledge only becomes a skill when you actually apply it. By looking for the passing triangles, the deliberate switches of play, and the positional mastery we've covered today, you are going to see football in a completely new, fascinating light. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really encourage you to put this into practice, and I hope you're as eager as I am for our next explainer, where we'll be diving into game management and match momentum. Until then, keep analyzing and enjoy the beautiful game.